And that approach. So if a listener tuned into this episode, I don't know, 30 minutes ago, missed my preamble, but tuned in 30 minutes ago and heard this conversation, they would think that I was having a conversation with a technology a drug discovery platform uh, developer. And you are that discovery,
Hmm.
target, optimization. But at the same time, you're developing drugs. And the more I talk to you, the more I wonder why. Like you've got this platform that does amazing things. You've got partnerships with Big Bio who are leveraging the platform to enable their own discovery and understanding efforts. You've had great partnerships with academia on the technology itself. Why not just go to market with the technology itself, offer it as a service, and let other people do the drug development? Why did you build a pipeline? Or why are you building, I should say, a pipeline?
That's actually a dilemma that every platform technology company has. And the way that it starts is that if you come with the technology and you talk about the promise of the technology to pharma, it's going to be very, very hard sell because they ask you, did you find something? Did you discover something with your
Yeah.
technology? Has anybody else done that? So either you show that you are doing it, or you show another partner that has done it, or several of them. So we had to develop a pipeline first to prove that it works to ourselves. Second, to prove to partners that it works. Third, because there is value in those molecules, and we were able to fund the development. It's kind of feeding each other. You
Yeah.
develop your own pipeline, you use your platform, you understand how your partners would be using it as well. You fix things, you improve things, you test it. So you are using your pipeline as the way to advance your platform, and you use your platform as the way to advance your pipeline. But
But
if you
it's
ask me what the next step is, that's the inflection point that you need to take a decision. Because if you want to go, to the clinic, and we are pretty close already there,
yeah.
okay. So then it becomes a decision. How do you continue to become both? And this is a decision that we are thinking about. We are actually, by the end of maybe of this year or early next year, we're there, and it requires a different maybe thinking about it, but we are seeing so much interest in the platform right now. AI for mRNA biology is unique. We are, by the way, the only company. We've been in a peer group of 32 companies in small molecule mRNA drugs.
Mhm.
Go and find another one that has an AI story to tell. So we were from the very beginning very different, but we were in a place where we were looking similar. And now we kind of diverged from that peer group altogether, and we are really showing, why the platform is so different, because it's really an AI tech bio platform on the basis of that rich deep data that is generated from millions of images, completely different from the target-based approaches of designing molecules to bind into mRNAs or affect its biology in a certain way. It's a different idea, different concept. And now we are seeing that it's much bigger than we thought. Even it's not even just limited to that. mRNA in small molecule drugs. It's so much bigger than that. So all this strategic thinking is actually happening and is driven by a pull from the market, less than a push, by us.
Yeah.
And it's a good place to be in. Actually, I like this in kind of interaction.
Do you think that is there a chance that should the pull lead you down that clinical path, like as a businessman as the man in charge of the company's direction, um, should the therapeutic pull lead you toward that clinical path? Could you see Anima becoming a clinical grade, a clinical stage biopharmaceutical company, or do you think that'll be something that you'd probably partner out? I mean, maybe it's too early to tell. I'm not asking you to. You don't have to answer the question if you're not, prepared to or able to.
The answer is that so far we've been under the assumption that the answer is yes.
Hmm.
Okay. And we were able to do both. We were able to partner. We've done 3 big partnerships in our space, by the way, where we started. And as I said, there are over 30 companies there. Actually, there were not so many deals done. We've done 3. There is one company that did actually 5. And then the next 2 companies did 2, about 5 did 1, and all the rest never done a single deal. So it tells you that the field is very much in the beginning, in the early phases, and the farmers are still looking at it, learning and trying, but there are no it's not like completely all over the place and everybody's looking for it. At the same time, if you think about it, mRNA is in the market.
Yeah.
In vaccines and in RNAi drugs. So to apply our platform to things that are close to the market or in the market, from a business standpoint, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But I don't want to develop them. I want to work with my partners there. So I definitely see Anima continuing to do partnerships, and many of them in many different areas. And we are at the same time moving our pipeline forward. It will come to the point of whether we license it out, whether we are,
Sure.
continuing with certain ones, maybe with spin-off companies like some other companies have done, to take individual assets to the clinic. That's also a possibility. There are many ways to go about it.
Yeah. And those partnerships are as I mentioned from the outset, strong. I mean, you got some AbbVie, Takeda, Lilly. I mean, great partnerships. And we're kind of running short on time here, Yoki. So I can't ask you to go into too much depth on how those partnerships came to fruition. But if you care to share any more detail on the partner, I guess the details behind the partnerships with those 3 companies.
So they were published, in press releases, and we got from all of them like very big upfronts and milestone payments and research funding, and it's like those $1 billion plus deals that you hear about with a lot of potential. But for me, what is important is really not all of that, because that's just an evidence that someone else is seeing value in your big vision and in your technology approach. Otherwise, you don't get, these partners, and definitely not at that scale. And I think that there are 2 things that they're looking for: tactical, which is molecules. Mm-hmm. They're buying mostly molecules. And in the environment right now, it's all like shopping for molecules. Molecules are cheap. Pharmaceutical companies are loaded with cash. Biotech companies have problems to raise funding because of lower valuation, so they sell assets, and it's kind of a lot of assets for cheap are on the streets. So to do a technology platform deal, it's even harder in an environment like this, unless you are really, really valuable, because that's like investing at long-term strategic stuff when you can buy with your money something that you can take to the clinic right away. Yeah. I think that we have that, and I think that our deals were like that, and because of that, because this is strategic, this is transformational. AI with mRNA biology, I think that's big. So I'm very motivated to continue to do that, and we are getting all the right signals that there will be more of that nature.
Yeah, very good. All right, one last question, and then we got to wrap things up. What's the next big thing on Yoki Sloanim's plate? Like what are you looking at your, I don't know, next few weeks, next few months? Like, what are you staring down right now?
So if you say the next few weeks and the next few months, it's actually very short time frame. Okay. Yeah.
All right. And I know we work in much longer time frames. That was an unfair question. Let's say quarters.
Okay. So we are now in the process of really rolling out the full big vision of our platform, offering the platform to partners across its different applications. We are building business models that are sometimes different from each other for different applications. We are having so many different conversations right now about that. And many of these are with people that are AI people in those companies. We are even have conversations with tech companies, big tech companies like NVIDIA, is a big tech company. I'm not saying specifically we're talking to them, but I'm giving an example. Google, Microsoft. These are interested in the data and the ability to apply AI over data that is proprietary. It's data that comes from diseases that have never been visualized before. Here is a visualization of a healthy and diseased. And what's the difference? Bring AI with all its power work on that. So we are thinking about all of these things. This is very exciting, very big, and very new. And at the same time, we are very, very connected to the reality of running, a tight ship. This is a business that has to continue and has to be careful because times are actually not amazing still, to say the least, for biotech companies. So we are well funded. We have the ability with our partners to move forward. We've got, a lot of stuff going on in development, and this is remaining our focus going forward.
Yeah, very good. Well, it's super exciting technology. I mean, if you're thinking about where's the real deal in terms of high tech in biotech, Anima Biotech is exemplary. AnimaBiotech.com if folks want to learn more. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. I appreciate you for being so gracious with your time. I've abused it, but I'm glad I did because I've enjoyed the conversation and I've learned a whole lot. So thank you very much for coming out and joining us.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.